Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list is going to start off a new series. I'm going to go through some of my large size notes. So I'm going to hit them out by denomination. I'm going to do ones, then twos, fives, tens, and then I'm just going to clump all the other large size into higher denominations because, well, frankly, I don't have a whole lot of individual denominations in the higher numbers. So putting them all together makes more sense. Anyway, we are going to start off the series with large size $1 notes. So these are my top 10 favorite $1 notes in my collection. Number 10. Starting off with a 1917 legal tender. 1917 legal tender, you can see here, of course, features George Washington on there. A series of 1917. This front image has actually been used since the 1869 series. They just done different things with the location and the size of the seals. But this particular image is how it's looked basically the entire time. This particular one has that X pattern in the back. That's called the sawhorse. You can see there it's a series of 1917 right there. Yeah, so the sawhorse, if you'd cross two boards, you could nail them together like that and use that as a sawhorse to cut apart everything else. It's always interesting to read the fine print here when it talks about counterfeiting, punishable by a $5,000 fine or 15 years in prison or both. Think about that when you try to sell your Where's George notes for profit. It's just neat that they've got them on there. Anyway, this is one of the easiest large size notes to get. Most of these you can find for about $100, maybe a little bit less. There's a bunch of different signature combinations on these as well. So if you wanted to put together a set of these with all the different signature combinations and FR numbers, you could make quite a set just with these notes. So that one is number 10 this week. Number 9. This is the legal tender from 1923. It looks exactly like the silver certificate. The silver certificate has a blue seal, and all of this would be done in blue rather than in red. The back of this note features what they call the gears, if I remember right. This is supposed to look like gears. And it's a combination of the gears and the funny back. If you look at the funny back, you have this designation here. So it's kind of neat to see that on a large size note. The silver certificate can be found for $50 to $100, and these, the legal tenders, they made a lot less of these. So these are going to start you out pretty close to $200 in decent, in any condition almost, and they can get up there in price as you get into better conditions. So this is, like I said, number 9, the 1923 $1 legal tender. Number 8. I've got an FRN. This is the 1918 Federal Reserve banknote. At a glance, these look a lot like the Federal Reserve notes of the time. That would be the 1914 Federal Reserve notes. But at a quick glance, you can tell the difference because the FRBNs always have the picture of the president offset, whereas the Federal Reserve notes will have the picture of the person dead center. Dead center on this note, it flat out says Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. So that's how you know who is the one backing this particular note. You can clearly get a Federal Reserve Bank note from each of the 12 different Federal Reserve banks. Some of them, like the St. Louis one, for instance, those are extremely rare for one particular denomination. I want to say is it the 50? I don't remember off the top of my head. But each Federal Reserve Bank printed different amounts. Some extremely scarce, others not so much. But this is the $1 version, and it's got the Flying Eagle image on the back. Very similar to the 1857 and 1858 Flying Eagle penny, if I recall. Not a coin expert, but I know that they call this the Flying Eagle, just like they call that particular penny the Flying Eagle. These particular notes, the $1 notes, are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 to $125 as a starting point, so they are fairly easy to put the entire set together. That one is number 8 on my list. Number 7. I have an 1891 treasury note, $1 treasury note featuring the greatest beard on currency. That is, oh, now I'm drawing a blank on this particular one. That is the Secretary of War under Lincoln, Edward Stanton. That's what this is, the Stanton note. The $1 treasury note, very cool note. If you take a look at the back, there are two different back designs. This one is the more common one with more of the white showing. That's the 1891 version. The 1890 version, there's about half as many notes, and the back is almost all green, one of the true greenbacks. The 1891 Treasury note, these were, as you can see, guaranteed by the Treasury in coin, not necessarily silver or gold coin, but coin in general. So they didn't have to keep a specific type of coin on hand to back these particular notes. This one's in decent shape, and you can see everything on it pretty well. Once again, checking out the back, does have a little bit of minor rust on it, but still a cool note and one that should be added to everyone's collection. This one is number 7 on my list. Number 6, not in the greatest of condition, but I have one. This is an ace, one of the original series national banknotes. This particular one, I say original series, that's not true. This one is from the series of 1875. So there was the original series, then the series of 1875. This is the first series where you actually see the charter numbers for the individual banks. Reading this one, you can see that this was from the Columbian National Bank of Boston. There were over 15,000 banks that had received charter numbers, and what that meant was that these banks would put money on deposit and then have notes printed with their bank as the person backing this particular denomination. These could be spent anywhere. Like I said, this one isn't in the greatest of shape. I believe this is the landing of the Pilgrims at Plymouth Rock. I believe that's what the image is on the back of this one. Like I said, not in the greatest of condition, but these can run $1,000 easy. They are that popular of a note. When it comes to nationals, the further west and the smaller the city, the more the price. This one being way out east from Boston, Boston being a big city as well, these are much more common. So this one was probably just a few hundred, even in this condition. But just to have one of these in my collection, I am proud to have it. That one is number 6. Number 5. I have a $1 silver certificate. This, I believe, is the first issue of a $1 silver certificate. There was some debate as to whether or not this should even be made, considering that we had $1 silver coins. You could get a silver dollar at the bank. Why would you need a piece of paper? But they decided that this was a better way to keep stuff in circulation. It was cheaper to print money than it was to make the coins and to have all this stuff backed, because there was supposed to be one silver dollar backed for every single one of these, but these are much easier to transport and ship. They are much lighter. 1886 $1 silver dollar, of course, features Martha Washington, and that is the same image of Martha Washington that they then used on the back of the educational. You can see the huge brown seal here. Very cool note. Looking at the back, this particular one, you can see how much green is on the back. There are a newer version, I want to say, it's 1886. I think there's another version of this that has a lot more white showing on the back. Anyway, this is the cool version of the very first $1 silver certificate that you can get. Always a good add to your collection. That is number 5. Number 4, speaking of the educational series, this is the $1 1896 educational note. This particular one, you can see here, grades out of 25. So some of you may be surprised that a note in this condition grades that high. And if that's the case, it's definitely time to go to school on your grading ability. This one features history instructing youth. And the image is history teaching youth about Washington, D.C. And if you look, it even has the Constitution of the United States printed there. Yes, you can zoom in on that and read it. Some people should. They love talking about the Constitution, but they don't bother to ever actually read it. Here are 27 names of is it 27? Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, no, 23 names of famous Americans throughout history. Some of them are presidents, some of them are authors, inventors, and such. So you can see all kinds of different names on there. When we look at the back, this features the exact same picture of Martha Washington. Let me grab that and put them side by side here. That is the same image. This one's done in green, this one's just done in black. So that's pretty cool. Then you've got the standard George, and if I look, that would be the same image of George as you see on the one here. So best of both worlds on this particular note. The 1896 $1 educational note. This is a short-lived series. It only lasted until 1899. That's what made these so rare, and, well, I mean, it's hard to believe that an image like this used to be on our money. Just an incredible image. And that was why it was called the educational series, because it was put out there to help educate the public. Not everyone in rural counties had access to museums and fine art in the cities. So by putting it on our money, it let everyone partake in such a thing. To me, that sounds as American as you can get. Other people would say that that would be communist, making sure the government takes care of everybody, and that's a bad thing. No, this was a way of showing everybody in the country exactly what fine art was. That is number 4. Number 3, the Black Eagle, the 1899 $1 Black Eagle. This is the note that replaced the educational series, one of the most beautiful notes out there. One of the very few notes that actually shows 2 presidents. Here you've got Lincoln and you've got Grant. You've got the Black Eagle right there, and you got the Capitol in the background. Very cool note. They left enough white space so you can see the blue and red fibers on these notes. Just so cool. When you get one of these in really nice shape, so impressive. Taking a look at the back of this, once again, you can see those fibers go right through the paper like that. It's interesting because all the fibers are concentrated in a line here and in a line here. There may be the occasional one scattered out, but it looks like they were, as they were making the pulp for the paper, just scattering a little bit in a couple different lines. So it's fun to see that. But yeah, the 1899 silver certificate, this is the note that replaced the educational note, and some of the detail work when you zoom in here is pretty impressive. So when you get one of these in nice shape, you can really appreciate all that stuff. The big blue digit and the big blue seal. I'm a big fan of the notes that have the big blue digit here. I just really like that. So that one is number 3. Number 2. This is the 1869 $1 legal tender, known as the rainbow note. You've got this blue that fades into the green like that. You've got the red seal, slight yellowing on the paper, the green on the back, as well as the black ink here. Truly a rainbow note. The blue and green were done in the paper itself, and everything else was printed on top of that. This is the Columbus sighting land, and in the background you can actually see the land right there. And of course you've got Washington on that note. Huge red seal here. And when you look at the back, most of the back is covered in green ink. Such intricate patterns there. The U and the S are intertwined to give the illusion of a dollar sign. Maybe, maybe not. You don't see a dollar sign on most notes. Side note, let me jump back here. On the $1 note, they did the same thing. It looks like the one makes a dollar sign right here. So a lot of people like to say, we don't have the dollar sign on our notes. Well, between that and this, yeah, we do. Anyway, there's the obligation again, the $5,000 fine or 15 years in prison at hard labor, or both. So it's always interesting to see. And as you can tell, this is, like I said, the exact same design as the 1917, but this is the original from 1869. 1917, you can see you don't have the rainbow, and the seal has moved and changed shape. That still leaves this one as number 2 on my list. Remember, the thing that makes this so expensive is that rainbow pattern, so if you can't see the rainbow, don't pay for the rainbow. And finally, number 1 this week. This is the original. This is the 1862 $1 legal tender. This is the very first $1 bill our country ever made. The $1 bill put out by the U.S. government, this one being a legal tender. This is one of the interesting ones. It has Salmon P. Chase pictured on it. And you can see there's a 1, a 2, and a 3. And clearly the 1 is highlighted here. On the $2 note, the 2 is highlighted, but we didn't make a 3. Yet they were prepared for a 3 there. This one features the signatures of Spinner. I forgot who the other one is, but Spinner's signature is always a classic on a note. Taking a look at the back, some people will say, oh, your note is off center, your note's an error because it's got the little print mark there. No, it isn't. It doesn't list it as an error in any shape or form. You can see it has the same on the front here. Not every one of those has that. It's simply printing designations, and the bill was slightly off cut. It ended up getting a 35 EPQ, so that's a very good grade for this particular note, especially with the EPQ. Exceptional paper quality right there on the back. How can you have a collection of $1 bills and not have the first $1 bill? Definitely needed in anyone's collection. So that's what I've got for you guys this week, my top 10 favorite $1 large size notes. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.